Well, good morning. As Dawn said, my name is Josh Neisler. I'm the owner and CEO at West Cloud. We're a boutique Salesforce consultancy here in the area. We focus on the core Salesforce products, so sales, service, and marketing cloud primarily. And a lot of our work is with retail and consumer goods businesses, healthcare and life sciences businesses, and insurance businesses. Not exclusively, but that's where we tend to play most often in terms of our practice. I'd be curious to know, do we have any Salesforce users here? Okay, we have some. And do we have any Salesforce administrators or other Salesforce professionals? Okay, great. So you can check my knowledge, check my facts as we go along here. What I would like to do is just give you an overview of some of the new things that are happening within the Salesforce ecosystem from my little corner of it. So certainly can't cover in the 25 minutes we have here everything that's happening in the Salesforce world, but just want to share from my vantage point what I'm seeing as sort of new developments, new features and products that are exciting and that I think are going to have an impact in the marketplace. So we'll cover today. Let me bring my mouse back over. So here's what I'd like to cover today. I'm just going to give you an overview of what Salesforce is. That seems straightforward. Oh, it's a CRM, but it's more than that. So we're going to kind of give a level set in that respect, and then talk about AI in Salesforce, particularly as it relates to the sales function of an organization and some of the tools that are available there to drive sales. A new product called Data Cloud, which honestly I'm still getting my mind around and seeking to understand and learning about, as well as Salesforce Flows, which is the Salesforce automation tool that is sort of replacing their legacy automation tools that have been in use up till now. And then we're going to talk about another product called Salesforce Pro Suite, and that's where we'll end. So just a quick overview of Salesforce itself. Let me put this right here. So we have the sort of core products that Salesforce is best known for: Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Marketing Cloud. Sales Cloud just helps companies, organize and manage their sales process from lead to close, with the idea of managing those relationships better, organizing their sales process and streamlining it and codifying it. So a lot of my work when we're helping a customer implement CRM for the first time, and there are big companies that are just now getting into the CRM space, it's incredible, is helping them think about what are the steps in qualifying a lead, what are the steps in moving a deal through from qualification to close. Because if there's not a CRM where everyone's sort of working from the same sort of source of truth, then what you typically have is we're working out of spreadsheets, maybe we're working out of Teams, and every sales rep is kind of doing their own thing. And that can be okay, but we have to help them think about, at the 10,000 foot level at least, at a high level, what are the steps that everybody follows or should follow in the sales process. And then we have Service Cloud, which really helps companies support their customers efficiently. So case management, knowledge-based resources, whether internally facing or customer facing, and then omni-channel support, phone, chat, and email. And then finally, Marketing Cloud, which helps companies deliver personalized marketing across different channels. So email marketing, social media management, customer journeys, that type of a thing. So targeted email campaigns based on customer behavior. Now, in addition to all of that, there are a variety of other Salesforce products. This isn't all of them. This is just what I typed into the list off the top of my head. But there's Commerce Cloud, Data Cloud, which we're going to talk about in a moment, Configure Price Quote, Tableau, MuleSoft, Slack, and many others. In addition, there are sort of sub-versions of some of the core products. So for example, in my world, there's a version of Sales Cloud that is tailored specifically for retail and consumer goods companies. So some of the customizations that were commonly being done in that space are now baked into a product that's tailored for that specific vertical. And that's super helpful. It helps those types of businesses with things like their retail execution, so visits to retail stores, planning efficient routes around the area to those stores, and that type of a thing. But let's talk about AI and Salesforce. AI, big buzzword. A lot of Salesforce's advertising is around AI right now. In fact, I was talking with one of my Salesforce buddies, one of my account executives I work a lot with at Salesforce last week in Chicago, and he was like saying, I don't get these Matthew McConaughey commercials where he's kind of mumbling about AI, but people don't really even know what the product is. There's an assumption that everyone already knows what Salesforce is, so we'll just kind of talk a little bit about AI. But I think they would actually benefit. Now, who am I? But like, I would say they would actually benefit from like kind of helping folks understand exactly what their product is, sort of like their competitors are doing. Like you might, if you're a podcast person, you might hear HubSpot and Zoho and Pipedrive advertising on podcasts a lot, and they focus on features and benefits and sort of letting people know very quickly what their product does and the outcome that it delivers. If Mark Benioff is listening, he can take my 2 cents of free advice on that. But AI and Salesforce, what I want to talk about is AI as it relates to the sales function, as I said, and the assistant, the sales assistant that Salesforce has is called Einstein Copilot. And so what that is a conversational AI assistant that lives right inside of Salesforce. And it's designed just to help sales reps directly as they're executing on their process. So it's like a virtual assistant, can help reps perform tasks more efficiently through natural language commands and prompts. Some of the benefits for sales users are helping kind of automate tasks. So, for example, a sales rep can ask Copilot to log meeting notes, to summarize a meeting through integrating with whatever your video meeting application might be, update records in Salesforce, schedule follow-up tasks, or create new opportunities for them. So we can eliminate a lot of sort of manual data entry that can kind of detract from actual revenue generating activities, from actual selling time. And I've actually had customers tell me that, well, we're hesitant to get into CRM because we don't want our sales reps with their noses in Salesforce all the time, typing notes and updating records. Understandable concern, but this tool helps to eliminate that to a great degree. And then on the side, I would say just like there's a lot of automation potential inside Salesforce to eliminate a lot of that as well. It also can provide deal insights and recommendations. So for example, a rep can ask Copilot to analyze an opportunity and provide a next best action. What should I do next to move this deal forward? So it could, such as suggesting what's the optimal time to follow up with this prospect, what potential risks exist around this deal, and would it be strategic to offer a discount at this point in the process? So by having real-time AI-driven insights, and I want to say also, this tool is using the data within your Salesforce instance to provide this support and these recommendations. So unlike ChatGPT, which sort of just exists out on its own, this being embedded inside your Salesforce instance is working from your internal Salesforce data. But by having those insights at their fingertips, sales reps can make more informed decisions, make those decisions faster, and close business faster. And then natural language queries. So instead of searching through reports and dashboards, a rep can just ask Copilot questions like, which leads are most likely to close this month? If you're a salesperson like I am, that's always the thing that's in the front of your mind, especially when we get to this last third of the month, right? It's like, what's going to close this month? Or what's our projected revenue for Q3? Those types of things. And then it also provides just easier access to customer info. So like during a call, sometimes if you're like me, you're on a sales call, you've got Salesforce up in one of your tabs. A sales rep can ask Copilot for a customer's recent purchase history, open cases, and really help the rep, better tailor their pitch to the current state of play with that customer without having to do a bunch of searching themselves through Salesforce, looking up different records. So having that sort of context and information like readily at hand helps during sales conversations to really improve customer engagement and help close deals. And then there's just practical stuff like follow-up reminders and help drafting emails. So reps can ask Copilot to draft follow-up emails after meetings based on CRM data, which can be reviewed and sent directly to the customer, boom, boom. And the sales rep doesn't have to kind of compose that email from scratch, think about what they're going to say, or even adapt a template that already exists inside Salesforce. Copilot will just draft the email for them, they check it over, and attach anything they need to attach and fire it off very quickly. So speeding up communication, ensuring follow-ups aren't missed, and keeping the tone both professional and personalized to the particular customer. So there's a lot of impact on sales efficiency with this tool. I first saw it demoed at Dreamforce, Salesforce's annual conference last year, and it really blew my mind. Although there were, I was thinking about in preparation for today, that was sort of a demo, and it was put on by Salesforce people, and it didn't go perfectly, actually. So if you're a speaker later today or tomorrow, just know it doesn't have to go perfectly. Even those Fortune 500 companies sometimes struggle with their presentations. But the ability to provide streamlined workflows and provide personalized assistance on the fly, I think is going to be a game changer for sales reps. And this is the sort of piece of AI that I think has applicability down even at the small business level. So some of these tools and innovations take a while to trickle down from the enterprise level to small businesses. This is one that I think can provide immediate value at the small business level that might have a relatively small sales team to really realize some efficiencies, to close business faster, and to just run as lean as possible and grow those books of business without having to add headcount on the sales team side even. So that's AI in Salesforce. I want to talk just briefly about Data Cloud. As I said, this is something that I'm still learning about myself. But Data Cloud is a platform that centralizes customer data in one place to provide a unified view of the customer and that customer's interactions with your business. So Data Cloud has a bring your own lake model, so think Snowflake, that type of a thing, where companies can integrate any system with Data Cloud, accessing all of their trapped data. So from data lakes like Snowflake, AWS, Redshift, Google BigQuery, Databricks, that type of a thing. They also no longer need to move data across platforms because of Data Cloud's zero copy or zero ETL, and it connects to external predictive models for seamless use in Salesforce workflows. So with Data Cloud, Salesforce allows you to store vast amounts of your data about your customers from a variety of sources and build a complete 360-degree view of your customer. Meaning that a person, right? Think about Data Cloud. Data Cloud's focused on a person and having a profile of a person and their touch points with your business. So things like in-app usage, interactions with your website, products purchased, pulling that data from the ERP, and marketing materials that an individual might interact with via marketing automation. So the idea is that this will benefit companies. Let me scroll through that. This will benefit companies by allowing for more personalized experiences by having all of the relevant customer information in one place. And also can provide real-time insights. So data is updated in real time, which can improve decision making. So for example, Think about an e-commerce business that could leverage data cloud to track customer behavior across multiple touch points and then deliver a personalized offer in real time based on those behaviors. So that's Data Cloud. And I want to talk a little bit about automation inside Salesforce. Up till now, Salesforce's automation tools, primary automation tools, have been one called Workflow Rules and another called Process Builder for creating different types of automation. Those are going away at the end of next year. That seems like a long time off. However, it's estimated that the average Salesforce org will require 150 hours of effort to migrate their automations over to Salesforce flows. So that's kind of a lift for a lot of organizations that might not have the capacity to sort of flex and make sure that that happens before the deadline. And it's estimated that the average org is only 12% migrated over to flows today. So customers are going to need to plan ahead and make sure they have a game plan in place to migrate everything over to the new automation tool well in advance. So some considerations to think about around this if you're a Salesforce professional, if you're a company that uses Salesforce and this is going to be something that impacts you, is that you've got to decide what to migrate. What that means is you got to think about, do we have active automations that need to go over? Do we have workflow rules or process builders that are there but are either inactive or just no longer working because of other changes within our Salesforce environment? So customers need to carefully review and document what really needs to be migrated over. Salesforce orgs obviously pass through different hands over time, and it's super common to have older automations that are active but not actually in use anymore. So for example, a customer might have an active workflow rule that updated a field based on a record type, but the record type wasn't active any longer. But it was also related to an app that they weren't using anymore that they can now finally get rid of. So there's opportunities to streamline the tech stack that can come with this as well. So migrating the declarative automations to flows can reveal, some technical debt within the automations and beyond that can be cleaned up as part of this process. And then there is opportunity to consolidate and optimize automations within Salesforce. So the changeover to flows provides a chance to eliminate redundant workflow rules and process builders and bring those into flows. So for an example on that, like a customer might have multiple workflow rules doing basically the same thing, saying updating an active checkbox on an account record, depending on whether an end date was populated or not, something like that. And you can now combine all of those things into a single flow. So you don't have to have all these redundant automations that basically do the same thing. They can all be brought together into one more efficient automation flow. So moving over to Flow has a couple of benefits going forward. It ensures a leaner, more manageable automation setup within your Salesforce environment and reduces complexity and maintenance overhead going forward. And then it's important to look at the structure. So flows provide much more flexibility in terms of execution and orchestration. The migration isn't one-to-one though, so you might need to consider flow orchestration, which can lead to considerable performance benefits, as I touched on already. So logic right now, logic operating on only on the record being updated can be triggered as a before save event, which can perform 10 to 20 times faster than an after save event. So, and even more so when compared to process builders or workflow rules. So flows have highly efficient entry criteria, meaning that if you structure your logics in distinct individual flows with adequate entry criteria established, you can actually avoid expensive no-ops, which increases save performance considerably. So you got more reliable automation in place. And then Flow allows you to the opportunity to separate things into logical and reusable chunks that can be used as a subflow in multiple different flows. So there are reusable pieces, so you don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel every time. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. But that's a change that's happening in the Salesforce world. Salesforce professionals are well aware of it. It's been talked about for a couple of years, but we're getting down to the end game where everyone's going to have to make sure that they have the ramp time to make this change. And then lastly, I want to talk about Salesforce's newer CRM product called ProSuite. So ProSuite is sort of Salesforce's answer to competitors like HubSpot, Monday, Pipedrive, and Zoho. It's an upgraded version of their Starter Suite product, which was released last year. So they used to have Salesforce Starter and Salesforce Professional Edition, and now we've got Starter Suite and ProSuite. And the reason that it's called a suite is that it brings sales, service, marketing, and commerce all into one instance, into one platform. And so just a kind of a rundown of the features of this. You've got the sales piece, so managing tasks and follow-ups, creating lead lists, managing lead status, and tracking all your activities, so logging your calls and emails and meetings and so on. And the ability to forecast revenue and understand risk factors around deals and quickly review and edit opportunities that are in your sales pipeline. So that core sort of sales CRM functionality is there. But along with that, you get significant service functionality, so leveraging omni-channel to seamlessly engage customers across phone, email, and chat, create knowledge articles to shorten training timelines, and then automate repetitive manual tasks as well. And then we've got the marketing piece, so quickly, segmenting your target audience, drag and drop content creation that's very user-friendly, as well as the ability to report on campaign success. Then the commerce piece also is here, and it's sort of limited within this version of Salesforce, but basically allows you to send payment links to your customers so that you can collect revenue faster. And that's they also sell that as a standalone product called Pay Now. So really, you can just like embed a unique payment link into an email, send that over to the customer. It's connected to a Stripe account, and you can capture the customer's payments. And then there is pretty robust reporting functionality within ProSuite. You can visualize your data through real-time reports and dashboards, and quickly filter and edit reports to incorporate different data, drill down into underlying data to investigate and take action on your opportunities. And then it also includes the ability to create, in ProSuite, you can create custom objects, and you can also set up automations and things like approval processes. And those are all things that aren't available in the starter version of the product. It does come with access to Salesforce's App Exchange as well. So just like you've got an app store on your phone, Salesforce has its own app store with all sorts of third-party applications, connectors to facilitate integrations and that type of a thing. ProSuite does come with access to that, so you can use all those third-party tools that are out there and available. And then as well, you can, in addition to that, you can purchase an API add-on additional fee that'll allow you to integrate with other external systems beyond what's available to you via App Exchange. This does come at a lower price point than Salesforce Enterprise Edition, which is sort of like the standard edition that folks will buy. ProSuite is only like $100 a user list price, whereas Enterprise Edition is $165 per user. I will say, if you're someone who buys Salesforce licenses for your organization, that if you go through a sales rep to purchase licenses, you can typically get a discount on that list price. And if you time that in conjunction with your renewal date or with the end of a month or quarter at Salesforce, especially the end of the first half and end of the year, you can often get a very significant discount, especially a bigger discount the more you buy. But list price at $100 for this tool, there are some limitations around it, but I think very scalable at the small business level, and again, allows Salesforce to compete with some of those more entry-level CRM products that do have very real limitations. When I'm selling alongside Salesforce, Our prospects are usually, it's a competitive situation where they're evaluating other CRM products as well. And what we often tell them is, Salesforce is scalable. It's great at the small business level, and then as your business grows, it's able to scale with you. So more of an investment on the front end for sure, if you're looking purely at like license cost and implementation fees. However, businesses, even small and medium-sized businesses, tend to outgrow those more entry-level CRM products pretty quickly. And any savings they realize, and upfront in terms of license cost, gets wiped out if they got to rip and replace that CRM 2 or 3 years down the road. So if you're in the market, and shopping for a new CRM solution for your company, I would just put that bug in your ear that with Salesforce, and obviously I'm biased to some degree, but like I really believe that it's like the last CRM you ever have to buy if it's implemented correctly out of the gate, and you've got a foundation that'll make it scalable for the future. The other thing I want to say about ProSuite, just in conclusion, is the setup of ProSuite is supposed to be self-guided. So it'll walk you through kind of customizing and configuring it to match your business, the information you need to capture about your customers and deals, and that type of a thing. However, it can be useful to enlist the help of a Salesforce partner to handle that for you for a couple of reasons. Two, they can knock it out probably quicker than you can, and they can ensure that it's done according to best practices, so that you are laying a extensible foundation for the future as your use case evolves and becomes more complex over time. So we're kind of doing it right out of the gate. So that's just the other thing I would say. But it is meant to be sort of self-implemented to a large degree. So I've had customers, just recently, they're going to do as much as they can, and they'll just buy a bucket of hours from me to assist and advise and maybe handle portions of that setup for them, but really just shoulder surf and make sure that they're kind of staying between the ditches when it comes to setting it up themselves. All right, that's really all I wanted to share. Thanks for showing up for the very first session. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the owner at West Cloud. And any questions afterward, I'll step here for a couple of minutes and would love to chat with you. Thank you.